We are joined by our CHSN colleague, college football analyst, Joshua Perry. And the reason Joshua Perry is joining us here on set is because today we are raising our glass to the Bears' new quarterbacks coach, JT Barrett, who was your teammate.
Yes.
When you guys did a little thing called win a national championship.
You're here.
Cheers to you. Cheers to JT. What's it like seeing
2014,
JT?
right?
2014.
Yeah. Yes.
What's it like seeing JT Barry get this opportunity?
Well, it's awesome. He certainly deserves it, right? He's a guy who's worked his way up through the ranks. What people are going to appreciate about him is he is a very serious, disciplined person. Even though he's young, he's got this older aura, kind of an old soul about him. And so I think he's going to be able to build that connection with Caleb. I think it's like the biggest question is, how do you coach him? How do you get him to break through? Well, you bring in a guy who believes in discipline. Both of his parents were in the military. You bring in a guy who's had to work really hard for this opportunity himself. Next thing you know, you've got a quarterback coach who probably relate to a dude who's trying to ascend in the league as well.
Not only relate, but I wonder, because of the success he did have in college, similar to Caleb Williams, obviously things happen in the NFL, but JT Barrett comes here, not only the relatability, but the respect. Mm-hmm. Won't he have instant respect just based on where he played, how he succeeded, and what he accomplished?
I think so, and I think the thing that JT can tell him too is, I had success as a quarterback in college. Wasn't half the athlete that you are, just from a physical trait standpoint. But I followed the coaching. I listened to the plan, and I put myself into the scheme. I did what was asked of me. Now, you pair your skill set with believing in the scheme that Ben Johnson's bringing here for this offense to suit you, all of a sudden you're going to be able to explode in the player that we know you can be.
When you were his teammate in college, was this one of those guys that was like, this guy's going to be a coach one day?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Again, I keep going back to this idea of a very serious person. So the story of the 2014 season, Braxton Miller was an all-everything quarterback. He gets hurt in training camp. So here comes redshirt freshman JT Barrett, a guy who had an ACL injury his true freshman year, and we didn't miss a beat. He was a leader immediately. He was a guy who always took the responsibility of the game when things were going bad and always praised his teammates when things were going well. And he was a big reason why we got to a point where we were in position to win a championship by the end of the year. So seeing that from a guy who was 19 years old, it makes perfect sense that, by 30, he would be a position coach in the NFL.
And then didn't he get hurt?
He did.
And he had to step aside.
But he was a great leader for us, even when he was hurt.
Watching somebody else kind of win, and he put them in position, and then Cardale Jones finished it off.
And JT's on the sideline. He's got a scooter because he had the ankle injury, whatever the case was. He's on the sideline with the headset on. Cardale comes off the field, and they're going through the coaching points, right? Like, he was always kind of destined to be a guy who could coach other people.
So this is going to be huge for Caleb Williams to have on the sideline, possibly with him breaking down the tape, because Ben Johnson, who maybe would have been doing that with Jared Goff, is now going to have a lot of other responsibilities on the field.
Right.
This is someone that he can look at the pictures with Caleb and say, hey, here's what we saw, here's what we can do better.
Yes, and to that point, right, I think JT understands the mechanics of doing all of that because he was there in Detroit working with Ben Johnson, kind of the assistant quarterback coach. So I think he knows what to expect in terms of how information is relayed and how it's given to the quarterback in game. So from that standpoint, the workflow is going to be really good.
Got any other ex-teammates you can recommend to the Bears?
Yeah, Tyvis Powell is a guy who played safety with us. He was defensive MVP of the national championship game. 4 years in the NFL, kind of a journeyman. I think he'd be a great coach. And if they're looking for an assistant linebacker coach, call this guy right now.
Okay, love it. Well, we don't want them to take you away from us.
I was only joking.
Please. Hey, cheers to you,
joking.
Joshua Perry. Thank you so much for joining us.
Cheers.
Cheers to JT Barrett. We're excited to see him here. I have mentioned this, but, my first TV market was Wichita Falls, Texas. It's JT Barrett's hometown. My first year in Wichita Falls was the year after that you guys won the national championship. They're going to build a statue for JT Barrett in Wichita Falls, Texas one day, as they should.
Yes.
Rider High School. Shout out to them. Those guys treated me so well. So I'm happy to see JT get this opportunity as well.
Absolutely.
David